Good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome back to Unit 14, International Organizations. Before you learn your new lesson, I would like you to listen to the information and guess what organizations are. The first one, this organization was established in New York in 1948. Its aim is to advocate for the protection of children's rights. One of its activities is carrying out education development programs for children. Can you recognize what this organization is? Yes, it is UNICEF. In Vietnamese, it means Tổ chức Nhi đồng Liên Hiệp Quốc. The second one, number 2, this organization's head office is also in New York. This organization was established in 1961. Its aim is to protect endangered wild animals and their habitat. What is this organization? Yes, WWF. Vietnamese meaning is Tổ chức Bảo tồn Thiên nhiên Thế giới. Now, the last organization. This organization was founded in 1948. Its headquarters is in Geneva. This organization's activities are carrying out research on medical development and improving international health care. Can you guess what this organization is? Yes, it is WHO, Tổ chức Y tế Thế giới. We are going to learn about these 3 international organizations in the lesson today, Unit 14, International Organizations, Lesson 2, Speaking. Do you know who announced the official name the COVID-19 for coronavirus disease? Yes, it's WHO. Now, read the passage about WHO and answer the question in Task 1, textbook, page 155. Are there any new words in this passage? Now, read it. WHO, the World Health Organization, is the United Nations Specialized Agency for Health. It was established on the 7th of April 1948, whose objective, as set out in its constitution, is the attainment by all peoples of the highest possible level of health, whose main activities are carrying out research on medical development and improving international health care. Are there any new words? I think you may meet some new words. The first one, Constitution. It is a noun. Now, look at this. Constitution does mean hiến pháp. The second word, the, attainment. Attainment is a noun, also a noun. That means the action of achieving a goal. Vietnamese meaning sự đạt được. Now, read the question. Number 1, what does the WHO stand for? Number 2, when was WHO established? Number 3, what is its major objective? And the last one, number 4, what are its main activities? You have 1 minute to find the answer. Have you finished? Now, check your answers, please. Number 1. What does WHO stand for? You have the phrase stand for. That means là chữ viết tắt của. Now, focus on the first line of the passage. And the answer is WHO stands for the World Health Organization. Number 2. When was the WHO established? Please look at the second line of the passage. And the answer is it was established on the 7th of April 1948. Number 3. What is its major objective? Pay attention to the underlined sentence in the passage. And the answer is its objective is the attainment by all peoples of the highest possible level of health. Mục tiêu của WHO là tất cả các dân tộc đều có được trình độ y tế cao nhất có thể được. And the last lesson, what are its main activities? Look at the last lines of the passage. And the answer is its main activities are carrying out research on medical development and improving international health care. Những hoạt động chính của WHO là thực hiện những cuộc nghiên cứu về phát triển y học và cải thiện chăm sóc y tế quốc tế. We move to task 2 in textbook, page 156. Below is some brief information about 2 international organizations. Ask and answer questions about them. The first one, UNICEF, and the second one, WWF. To have an overall view of these organizations, please watch the first video clip.
Every minute of every day, 245 children are born around the world. That's 2.5 million children a week and 128 million children a year. Every one of those children is born full of potential. But they won't get there without everyone's help. From the start, a baby needs to be loved, cared for, and protected from neglect. A baby needs to be protected from illness and disease. A baby needs to be clothed and fed a healthy diet so she can grow strong. As a child grows, he needs to feel safe to explore. That means a safe place to live and play. Safe drinking water, healthy food, clothes, and someone to catch him when he falls so he can reach his milestones and get help when he doesn't. As a child grows, she needs a chance to learn, free from discrimination. A child needs to be encouraged to ask questions, to develop their curiosity and unleash their imaginations, and time to play, for sports, for leisure activities, and for cultural traditions. As a child matures, he needs a chance to spread his wings. That means the freedom to express himself, and the freedom from exploitation in all forms. That also means access to information, and opportunities to gain experience that will help them give back as adults. Will you help a child in your life reach their dreams? You have more power than you think to nurture, protect, inspire, and teach, and to help a child reach their full potential. Visit www.unicef.org to find out more about the Convention on the Rights of the Child and how you can help.
This clip is about, yes, UNICEF. Now, we read some brief information about UNICEF again. Founded 1948, được thành lập vào năm 1948. Headquarters, New York, trụ sở chính, New York. Aims, mục tiêu. 2. Advocate for the protection of children's rights to help meet their basic needs and help them reach their full potential. Pay attention to the new words in this. The first one, advocate. That means ủng hộ, tán thành. The phrase meet their basic needs. Meet someone's need, đáp ứng nhu cầu của ai. Giúp đáp ứng nhu cầu cơ bản của trẻ con. Next one, potential. Tư chất hoặc là tiềm năng. Help them reach their full potential. Giúp cho chúng đạt được tiềm năng đầy đủ. Activities. First, provide support and funds for the most disadvantaged children, victims of war, disasters, and extreme poverty. You have the word victim, nạn nhân. Disasters, thiên tai. Poverty, sự nghèo túng. Extreme poverty, sự khốn cùng. And the second activity, carry out education development programs for children. Now, listen to the conversation and practice speaking.
What does UNICEF stand for?
UNICEF stands for United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund.
When was UNICEF established?
It was established in 1948.
What is its major objective?
Its objective is to advocate for the protection of children's rights, to help meet their basic needs and help them reach their full potential.
What are its main activities?
Its main activities are providing supports and fund for the most disadvantaged children and carrying out education development programs for children.
And this is the second video clip about WWF.
This organization turned the panda into a symbol of the conservation movement. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're taking a look at the history of the World Wildlife Fund. The World Wildlife Fund is an international, non-governmental organization founded April 26, 1961 by Victor Stollen, Julian Huxley, and Max Nicholson in an effort to protect endangered animals. Today, it is known globally as the Worldwide Fund for Nature, and its goals have expanded significantly. Once the founding document, known as the Morge Manifesto, was produced, the WWF opened its first office months later in Morge, Switzerland, on September 11, 1961. On that date, the organization was registered as a charity, and its mission to raise funds for wildlife conservation began. The founders started by supplying grants to non-governmental organizations based on the best scientific wisdom accessible at the time. One notable early project involved assisting the Indian government in creating reserves for Project Tiger. The WWF also helped set up national parks or reserves in Africa, Asia, and Latin America as part of the Tropical Rainforest Campaign. This developed into the WWF's Forest Program, which worked to conserve both tropical rainforests and temperate wooded areas. In the 1970s, the organization set up a number of sanctuaries for marine life in a large-scale campaign called The Seas Must Live. Soon, the focus of the WWF shifted from endangered species and habitat destruction to tackle other conservation-related issues as well. The group set up offices in different countries to promote its numerous, far-reaching projects. The mission and strategy was further adjusted when the WWF merged with the Conservation Foundation. Along with the preservation of nature, the group now also aimed to maintain biological diversity, encourage the usage of sustainable resources, decrease pollution, and develop communication and collaboration with locals.
Even more new goals were set in the 1990s. While conserving forests was still deemed important, the WWF added freshwater ecosystems, oceans, and coasts to its roster of causes. Today, the WWF continues working to reduce our ecological footprint, but also concentrates on the conservation of over 30 species and ecoregions considered to have the most exceptional and biologically diverse habitats. In addition, the global program framework includes global initiatives concerning the Amazon, the Arctic, smart energy, smart fishing, and more. Throughout its history, the WWF has attempted to bring about policy changes by both collaborating with and lobbying world governments. For instance, international moratoriums on whaling and the ivory trade are partly the result of the group's efforts. Debt for nature swaps are another example where developing countries can both lower their foreign debt and yield funds for conservation efforts. The organization was also instrumental in convincing governments to endorse climate change conventions during the 1992 United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. The WWF now works with businesses, banks, scientists, and other groups on their campaigns as well. As climate change becomes an increasingly significant issue, Earth Hour is one example of an annual event organized by the WWF that raises global awareness. By working with locals and non-governmental organizations to learn about how cultures affect the environment, the group also encourages countries to invent their own conservation strategies. Since the WWF is a charitable foundation, it receives financing from outside sources. Gifts and individual donations make up the majority of funding, though government agencies, institutions, and corporations contribute as well. However, this has led to criticism. Some have accused the WWF of biased campaigning due to its relationships with certain big businesses. Despite the group's contributions, the underperformance of some of its programs, plus the alleged misrepresentation of certain risks in order to attract more funding, have also drawn criticism. Since its creation, the WWF's approach to conservation and the environment has evolved from a preservationist plan to one that examines development issues. Now, the World Wildlife Fund seeks solutions for global environmental security and hopes that humanity will one day live in harmony with nature.
Next, read some brief information about WWF. Founded 1961. Head Office. Head Office is a synonym of headquarters, trụ sở chính, New York. Aims to protect endangered wild animals and their habitat. Activity: carry out research on endangered species. Collect data on rare and endangered animals and plants. Now we meet the word research. That means cuộc nghiên cứu. And another word, data. That means dữ liệu. Now, listen to the conversation and practice speaking.
What does WWF stand for?
WWF stands for World Wild Fund.
When was WWF established?
It was established in 1961.
What is its major objective?
Its objective is to protect endangered wild animals and their habitat.
What are its main activities?
Its main activities are carrying out research on endangered species and collecting data on rare endangered animals and plants.
What have you learned today? You have learned about the 3 international organizations: WHO, UNICEF, WWF, and practice speaking. And remember to do your homework. Write a short paragraph about UNICEF, WWF, using the information you have just learned. Thanks for your attention. Goodbye.